This week, we decide to try less, aim low, and achieve it. And we hire a human Uber to host the show for us. And do I explosively hurl on air for my first VR experience? Find out in this week's episode of... 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1! Robot Lady, hit the alarm!
Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour. Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour.
Don't waste my motherfucking time!
Happy New Year, everybody! We are doing this, of course, still in 2018 because of the wonders of technology where we are not on the cutting edge of anything. But you're listening to this in 2019. That means we've been around for like 2 whole years.
Just over, yeah.
By the way, Adam's here.
I'm here!
Yeah, you came. This is great.
Yeah, because I needed to get the check.
Yeah, no, I have it. It's
Okay.
It's going to be, I just got it in the back.
Okay.
So after the show, just remind me.
All right,
and
I
then
will.
I'll give that to you.
2 years of back pay. That's really going to help out with all the Christmas gifts I just bought.
And then you'll have a check with money
I like the sound
on
of
it.
this.
And
Okay.
yeah, so this is going to be good.
Awesome.
Welcome back to the show, Adam.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
glad this worked out. So as you know, we usually are here as it's me in Virginia and Adam up in Maryland. Adam is down here today, which is great because of the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
So unlike other weeks when I say this, it's actually more appropriate this week than ever. You are literally going to get 2 ignorant, uninformed, ill-advised, self-deprecating morons ranting about opinions that we have no right to have, which are probably wrong and absolutely do not matter, in the same room.
It's like the height of new technology.
I know.
Putting 2 people in the same room.
It's, yeah. Oh, imagine this was like invented in, I don't know, 1700s. I don't ever.
Something like that.
Our goal here at Another Wasted Hour is to convince you that where we hail from, just outside Washington, D.C., is not just a city of politics and scandals, but one brimming with art, music, and culture. As impossible as that may seem. So listeners, now that you know why you're here, we actually have 2 panelists from this year's Art, Music, and Gaming Festival known as MagFest.
Woo!
Yeah, so let me introduce you really quick. This is impressive because this is the first time we've had smart people on our show. So, Steve Sheets, you are going to be talking about the State of the Union of VR at MagFest.
Yes, I am.
Excellent. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And then, John Nelson, you're going to be speaking about ARKit, Oculus Go, and some of the other very exciting things happening in VR.
That's correct.
And you both are VR geniuses, according to people who don't know anything about VR like me and Adam.
You're setting a very low threshold here,
Yeah.
but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's the goal. I think that's how we should live life a little bit more. We just had New Year's Eve, right? This speaks, I think, very highly of this because a lot of people have set their New Year's resolutions, and a lot of them are really hard to obtain, right? They're like lose 50 pounds, buy a dragon,
Learn guitar.
Yeah, and so
About up there with getting a dragon, learning guitar.
right, pretty much the
Do a
same thing.
podcast.
How to form a band.
Exactly.
How to quit the band.
How to make another band. So I'm thinking, what if we should start a trend this year where we just inspire people to have more attainable New Year's resolutions? Right?
2019 is
It's doable.
another wasted hour.
Yeah.
Try less.
Try less and achieve it. Right?
Exactly.
Lower your expectations.
And then achieve them. There's a piece there that you're missing. It's the achieving part.
Accumulate those small wins
That
with
would make a
minimal
great
effort.
bumper sticker.
Yeah. Aim low and hit the target. Right? My thinking is maybe we'll have less depression and anxiety and these types of things if everyone's just succeeding at a lower level instead of putting so much pressure on. Can you guys think of any really good like New Year's resolutions that people could achieve this year?
Well, I thought of one.
Yeah.
Instead of having the resolution to go to the gym,
Right.
I have the resolution to sign up for the gym.
That's great. I could do that. Yeah, we could knock that out in the first week.
Be less crowded then.
Yeah, it would be fantastic. You don't have to feel pressured to go. You're like, no, I tried and I did it. I'm thinking about, you know what? This year, I am going to wake up every day. I'm not going to skip a day.
Very brave of you. Keith.
Yes, every day I'm going to wake up at some time.
If you wake up at 1 a.m., does it count for the day before or the next day?
Oh, that's difficult. I would have to say it's the next day because you're waking up. If you had stayed awake to 1 a.m., then that's the previous day still, right?
I like the party.
Yeah.
I'm just aiming to improve my dietary habits by never missing a meal.
That's good. You need to stay nourished.
Exactly.
Right? People are telling you how you shouldn't be eating so much, but what happens if all the food disappears? You have to put on stores.
Exactly.
Well, we could all get more altruistic and give more.
Give more, just in a generic sense.
That way, next year we'll get it back. But somebody else stores it.
I like it. I like you're really betting on the comes back sevenfold bit, right?
That's right.
Boomerang economics.
We're going back to the gym again. You could always get someone else a membership for the gym. But of course, if you did it to someone who's close to you, they might not take it well.
That's true.
I need a gym membership.
You're killing two birds with one stone if you give somebody else a gym membership.
You could not go to the gym with them together.
Right. Because not only are you buying a gym membership, but you're being altruistic at the same time. That's one of the best ones, right? You're helping someone else.
And feeling good about yourself because you think you're going to the gym, but somebody else is
And you're
doing it
helping
for
the
you.
economy.
Yeah, this could take off, guys. I really feel like we have some real legs here. So let's talk a little bit while we have some time about VR, because I don't know much about it. I know that it stands for something with a V and reality.
Virtual reality. Surprisingly, that first 5 minutes of my talk in January at MagFest is going to be exactly about that, because I got to define augmented reality, virtual reality, shared reality, mixed reality, extended reality. We're very buzzword compliant here.
Yeah,
And
no.
it sounds like all of those are going to be a special drink at the bar.
Oh, what would you mix up there? Yeah.
or a result of the drinks at the bar. One of the two.
It's the same drink, how late it is you're having it. Yeah.
Well,
I got a room by myself, but thanks to enough drinks, there's now a shared reality in this hotel room.
Right. I've had enough drinks that I achieved my first resolution of getting a dragon.
and then my VR talks are going to pick up on that theme and talk about AR, augmented reality, and merging of reality and virtual realities together. And then virtual reality, which will be based on the Oculus Go, which was one of those, headset devices.
And you have one here, which is really
I
cool.
have one here, and we'll
One
put
of
it
you
on
will
Adam.
volunteer to wear this. Which one will be?
We are going to break ground by letting people experience virtual reality on a radio show.
Yep. You might be able to hear me explosively hurl on the high quality audio podcast I put together for you every week.
Well, that's the biggest thing that we found out talking to you guys about virtual reality. Apparently, there's a decent amount of people that'll get sick doing it.
With badly written software, it is. That's
Yeah.
one of the important things. We went to a seminar, and the first thing they told us was, don't make your customers sick, which kind of an important rule.
It's good business.
And that is easy to do. You can't just translate Doom or Quake into virtual reality because the mind doesn't quite grasp what's going on in the scene,
Right.
and merge it with the body,
And
what the
that's-
body's experiencing.
That's especially for virtual reality because that's very immersive, right? Is that
Very
my
much so.
understanding? Virtual reality, you put a headset on, you put headphones on, you replace the reality that's around you right now with those inputs completely.
Virtual reality shows nothing but computer graphics.
Right.
Augmented reality, either using the camera or having a clear visor, you can see everything around you and you see things on top of it.
Gotcha.
It also works when you look at your iPhone, you move it around looking through the camera and you see like a Pokemon Go.
Oh yeah,
there.
Pokemon Go does that.
That's
yeah,
exactly
Oh,
it.
And that's the first thing that most people turn off when they play Pokemon Go is the augmented reality.
It doesn't help the game in any way, so that's
But-
dropped off.
And it takes down your battery. I think is part of the problem too. So.
It is a problem.
That too. The augmented reality gives you a frame of reference because you're seeing real life, but the virtual objects meshed onto it.
Right. Okay.
Virtual reality is a big problem because you see people running or you see motion in there, but you're not going anywhere. You're just sitting there in a chair.
Some people can
right.
handle VR at high speed. Some people love roller coasters and such.
Yeah.
But a good percentage of people do get not well when that happens.
And
so
fall out of chairs. I've seen it.
some
on,
of the experts think AR in the long run is going to be the more important one. It's just we're really on the very bleeding edge of this
I
stuff.
could see how that would make sense, right? Because what you're doing is you're taking the world around you and then adding to it. And that's, if you think about all of our video games and everything, that's, you have that like HUD, heads up display that shows like how much health you have and all these things. Having that in real life seems like it could be really useful. Like, where am I going? Do I know this person? What's his name?
It's commonly called the Tony Stark because of all the Iron Man effects.
Yeah, exactly.
Mixed reality is one step beyond that, which is augmented reality. And then the computer knows where you're at. It can see the walls. It can put things there permanently. It can identify an object and give a little pop-up above it what's going on.
Okay.
And Microsoft HoloLens is very much like this.
Nice.
Possibly the new Magic Leap, but this is really new stuff.
That's really cool. Excellent. So if people are interested in VR, you've told me a couple of places that they can go. First, MagFest. Great place to find out about VR and gaming and music and arts and everything. That's going to be January 3rd through the 6th. That's a Thursday through Sunday. You can go up to magfest.org to get more information about that. It's at the Gaylord National Hotel up in National Harbor in Maryland.
Beautiful location. One of the very nice venues.
And you can hear both John and Steve talk about virtual reality. You can also join them at the DC Virtual Reality Meetup. At least you, Steve, are there, right?
Oh, John's here too.
Okay, both. Yeah.
The gentleman, Joey, who's in charge of the meetup, he has meetings in D.C. We think D.C. is a little hard to get to from Virginia, so we set up a chapter in Virginia. We both meet once a month.
Oh, okay, great. And you can just go up to meetup.com.org.
Right, and just say DCVR and you'll find it.
That's awesome. And if anybody's listened to the show long enough, you'll know that we also had Fear the Land come in. Our friend Michael Barbine runs that. You guys show up to that fairly often.
Occasionally, yes.
I've met you guys there before. And then if you want more information about things that you do, Mage Steve on Twitter, you said you have a bunch of technology stuff.
Hashtag Mage Steve. Yes, I put one up daily. In real life, I'm a software developer, iOS, Mac, some Android and Windows, also virtual reality.
Nice.
So I do a daily pod for about 2 years now. Where,
about 2 years, yeah.
About 2 years, where of things that interest me for technology.
Very cool. And John, you run a company called computation.com.
That's correct.
What do you guys do?
Small IT company in Virginia, basically full life cycle development.
Nice.
But it's relevant to VR and gaming because part of our brand, the computation.com brand, is to write software, design games, develop game technology, do basic and applied research in computer field for other people.
Nice.
So I saw a natural merge between VR and AR, which are two of my interests, and gaming and AI and that sort of thing. And so
that's cool. So if somebody has an idea for VR or AR, they could reach out to computation.com to help implement that.
John at computation.com.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us, guys.
It's a pleasure.
We are going to take you away from maybe what is your wheelhouse of technology and knowledge and being smart, and have you dive into the depths of our ridiculousness in a little section that we like to call the Weather Report. This is where we have scoured the internet for news that we found, actual news that we have found. We're going to put you in charge of a brand new publication. For you guys, usually we say it's like a new magazine or a newspaper or something. For you guys, it's probably going to be a web publication, I would think. Or maybe a VR publication.
For us, it would probably be an iPad app.
iPad app. There we go. It's a new iPad app.
Your use of the word scoured implies a lot more effort than we really put into this.
We went to the internet, and the first things that came up, we stole.
John's over there writing down this idea for an app.
So here are the things. We're going to pitch them to you. Let us know if you think it should make it into your publication or not. And but at the end, keep in mind we'll need a name for this new app. So think about that.
Now, honesty is important here, right?
Sure. Yeah, you can be as honest as you want. Or not. Hey, you can lie, honestly. If we're being completely straightforward, it doesn't matter.
Remind everyone we're in DC.
That's right. A low bar. Remember, we're doing low bars this year, right? So mostly honest when it's convenient. Yeah, that's where I would go. All right, Adam, how about you get us started off?
Alrighty, this is actually kind of close to what we were just talking about. Let a, quote, human Uber live your life so you don't have to.
I'm in.
I actually saw that article. I'm in too.
So
I'll go with the herd and say I'm in.
So it's a Japanese company right now that's trying to figure out if it's possible to set up a technology where, let's say, John, Your buddy asks you to help him move into his house. This is the example they give on this article.
Right.
And you just don't want to do it, but you don't want to upset your friend. You hire someone to show up with a mask strapped to their face that you then Skype into. So it's some other person with your face in front of theirs, and they do whatever it is they're supposed to while you talk.
This is
do all the talking.
telepresence plus. You
Yeah,
know?
Pretty much.
Considering the theme of this show,
Yeah.
I'm really tempted to say, well, yeah, that sounds good.
You got to see the article because the article shows this guy standing there with an iPad duct taped to his face.
Yeah,
the face of the other guy.
Yeah, I might have
saw
made
the
this sound
article.
much more high tech than it really is at this point, because they're also noticing that one of the problems they have right now is that this human chameleon can't see what they're doing because they literally have an iPad duct taped to their face. But eventually, they hope to have what they're calling the chameleon mask.
Nice.
So the next news article is headline reads, "Human Uber dies." First human Uber dies of falling stairs.
Yes, but would you charge if the human Uber kills someone? Would you charge the guy in the Uber suit or the guy controlling him?
Oh, that's a good question.
Both could go down for conspiracy.
I don't know. On the serious note, I think that goes right under the, well, if your friends told you to jump off a bridge, would you do it?
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
I'll be honest. The fact that you guys had heard of this beforehand and showed up to this show and didn't just send people with iPads on their faces is a huge boon for us.
Maybe we should do a talk about that.
Oh, let's not go there.
Yes. I'll do the talk, but we'll just put an iPad on your face. I'll just Skype in. Hey, I found some virtual reality, people. Look, I'm not even here right now.
Can you imagine an office with that, with a dozen people telecommuting from home while the people in the office?
I think you just solved unemployment.
Of
Because
course,
how many people would love to be able to work from home when they can't?
Yes.
the people would be replaced by robots. So you'd have robots walking around with iPads on their heads,
Right.
with human faces, telecommuting from home.
I think I saw that in a Twilight Zone episode once, but yeah.
Yeah. Keith, are you in the office today? Yeah.
Technically,
Sort of.
Actually, in all seriousness, they are building industrial robots that have iPads on them
Nice.
as interfaces, and they have little animated faces, abstractions of faces,
Oh, wow.
to show you what the robot is thinking and doing.
so
Bang.
someone's seen the movie Moon too many times.
Actually, Big Bang Theory had an episode when Sheldon decides to stay at home because he's germaphobe, and he does exactly that.
Nice.
So he drives people crazy from a distance, which is scary.
Yeah. So, do you guys think it's news? Is the question.
Oh, yeah.
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 It goes into your app. Or,
It's silly.
Yeah.
But there's some possibility of what it actually means to be somewhere.
Right,
So,
that is true.
yeah.
It's
all right.
silly, but it's relevant.
It's relevant. That's important.
Gets you to thinking.
All right, so that's great. So this next story I think fits in well with this because it also has to do with things maybe not being real. A fake priest heard confessions for 18 years. Yes, a Colombian man who pretended to be a Roman Catholic priest for almost 2 decades was exposed just before Christmas in Spain. The diocese where he had heard confessions and celebrated weddings. So he was marrying people with the powers given to him by God when he had no powers given to him by God.
Well, not with that attitude he didn't. but-
Right. Well, I mean, this year, if he aims low,
I mean, a lot of people on the streets of D.C. think they have powers given to them by God, and who am I to argue with them as I run away in terror?
right? But you probably wouldn't have them at your wedding.
Well,
By the powers vested
maybe
in
not
me
the wedding,
by
but the
God,
after party. The after party.
mainly the one where I can levitate things with my mind. That's not the one you need for the wedding.
I would believe this is true, but I don't need to have that in my magazine. We've already have enough stories about priests that I would rather not have anyway, but
I think this raises an interesting question, which is how many jobs could you get away with for 2 decades and people not know that you are actually that thing?
No, there's actually was a real case. I can't remember where it was a few years ago where they found out that the guy who was charging parking at this one building
yes.
Yeah.
actually was not supposed to be doing that, but had just been doing it for so many years. They went, you know what? Screw it. Let's just make it official.
I know that story. You know why they found out he wasn't the right guy?
No, I didn't
He
hear that.
quit. He retired.
You retired,
And then they said, well, you're going to send a replacement? And they said, what do you mean send a replacement? I thought you were the guy in charge. I thought you were the guy. Where's he be putting the money for the 20 years? He retired with a fortune. They calculated he has enough. It's a true story.
That's awesome.
Well, you know what? I'm going to say no to putting that in the magazine
Okay.
because it's not salacious enough.
Not salacious enough.
You
All
know,
right, that's good.
priest for 18 years, so who cares? You know,
Right. Didn't touch a single child that entire time. That's how he was
I was
found out.
trying not to go there right there, but
That's how they found out. They were like, wait a minute, we don't have a single complaint of you touching children. He's like, all right, you got me. I'm not a priest.
go see the movie Catch Me If You Can. The guy was a pilot, a doctor, a lawyer, all imitate, and this is true.
Yeah, but not for two decades. Because so like next to my office, they're taking down a building and there's like 4 excavators in there, like digging holes and moving things. I feel like if I were to rent an excavator and drive
Yes.
it down there, for about 20 minutes, I could dig a hole without anybody like saying anything. But around lunchtime, they'd be like, hey, you supposed to be here? And I'd be like, what? Like I would rent an excavator and dig holes?
Yeah, but you're going to be caught because someone's going to check the files on high tech. I can't think of Roman Catholic Church as exactly being high tech.
Right.
So I think they could get away with it. Anyone could have gotten away with it 50 years ago.
Sure. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. But yeah, so I think I've got a good solid 20 or 30 minutes in there. But 2 decades, I wouldn't be. They would know I'm not an excavator driver. Same thing with like electrician or anything that requires actual knowledge. I would think.
anything that requires
but how-
high power and
How much knowledge you need to do a confession, okay? You're guilty. Go say,
Do you think he got it wrong at first? They were like, I banged like 8 guys, and I know that's wrong. And he's like, I've heard worse. Yeah.
Say 20 Hail Marys and slip me $20.
Right.
Father? I mean,
go to the...
What did the previous priest say?
Hey, go to the left's confession booth. He's really easy.
Right. We love our priest.
No, we
All
don't
right.
want you to change him.
So not in. That's fair. Okay.
researchers show parachutes are not effective at preventing an injury from falling on a plane. They are, in fact, no more effective than a backpack. Yes, medical researchers launched a very well thought out study to prove whether or not a parachute is effective at preventing injury when jumping from a helicopter or a plane, and if it was more so than a backpack. And they found out that no, the parachute was not more effective.
Who was the volunteers for this study?
They got friends and family to do this. They literally got people to say, would you be willing to participate in a study where there's a 50-50 chance after you jump out of this plane or helicopter that you'll have either a backpack or a parachute?
All right, so
Now, at this point, I should mention that both were parked.
that's what I was waiting for. I was like, there's a hitch in this somewhere.
Yeah, the biplane, I think, was about a 2-foot drop, and the helicopter about a 3-foot drop.
Okay, now I feel better.
Now, the whole point of this study was that apparently it was supposed to be like a satire of modern medical research, where people are so convinced of this has to be true because, of course, parachutes prevent you from getting hurt when you jump out of a plane. That's what they're there for. That you then cherry pick results.
I feel like this article is bait and switch. You say one thing and it turns out another, and I don't like that, so I would say no for my magazine.
Wow, quick.
But
If you're going to be something absurd like that, it better be true.
well, in a way, it is.
In a way.
Because they're demonstrating that, because I'm sure it's not just medical stuff. I'm sure you've probably run across people researching things in the tech world, and they're like, well, that has to be true, so I'm going to ignore all the stuff that
but if I read something and I see it's from The Onion, okay, I take it with a grain of salt. If I see this in my magazine, which is very going to be correct and proper and very expensive, then I prefer it to
Setting
be
a
true.
price point. Okay.
your
That's
magazine
good.
is on the internet, so it has to be true, right?
And expensive.
Yeah, that's what Lincoln said.
The only thing I would say is that Adam makes a really valid point here, because really for the first 100 feet or so, that's true. You don't even have to park it, right? Because how high do you have to be before the parachute deploys?
Depends on the parachute, a couple, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, base jumping, it's still got to be 100 feet, right, or something like that.
At least only because you don't base jump off the top of Wendy's, right?
Right. I mean, once.
Here, throw the cat out, see what happens. Yeah.
All right, so not in your publication.
Not in the
All right,
publication.
fair enough. White House staffer devised plan to hide out for 6 months while he was still getting paid.
I know government workers. Yes.
Yeah, definite yes.
I'm really fond of this one because there's this great. So first of all, basically what happened is this guy, because of how much turmoil has been in the White House, everyone who knew he was working there and like when he was supposed to be there and stuff, they're all gone. So he just was like, I'm just going to stay home and not tell anyone that I'm, when I'm supposed to be there. I'll just not be there and they'll think no problem. Checks will go out. And then he figured out that, so the Coast Guard had this like early retirement option. And he said he just needed 6 months and then he could take the early retirement option. He'd be out and he was good. Right. And knowing the White House right now, that's probably not a bad idea to stay at home for 6 months. Your chances of getting fired might be lower.
6 months later, he joins the guy in the parking garage.
Yeah.
You're less likely to meet your end at pitchforks and torches. So
Yeah. So the problem is the retirement plan was created 5 years ago, and it also ran out just before his 6 months was over.
oh no.
So he didn't plan that out so well. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. So
Meanwhile,
I guess
he's at home playing games for that. I don't think he's really lost there.
right. That's true. It could be worse. So is it news?
I think it's news, and I would put it in the publication because it's a inspiration to other government employees all over the world.
Right. Well, they all are staying home right now, but not because they want
That's
to.
true.
Many moons ago, I used to be in the Navy for a short time as a midshipman, and we were on board an aircraft carrier. You know how large an aircraft carrier? Occasionally, you get AWOL. Yet people go AWOL on board the aircraft carrier for a week or two. It's a city,
Yeah.
and they can't find the person.
Right.
He goes to a different mess and he eats and everything. So I'm sure it's happened. It's things like that, real world.
All right, fair enough. So that's in.
Gatwick chaos. Police, quote, could shoot down drone after it has already shut down the airport for 24 hours.
Could you say that again? Because it doesn't make sense even if I hear it.
So I'll break it down a little bit. I forgot to mention that. Is this technically lightning round or?
That's fine. Go for
Screw it. So technically, I shouldn't say technically. So I'll break it down a little bit. There's been a drone, possibly 2 drones, that at least as of when I found this article 2 nights ago, had the airport shut down for over 24 hours, and the police were finally deciding maybe we'll just shoot the fucking thing down.
Oh, that's definitely bogus.
No, that
No,
happened.
it's a real thing.
It
Yeah.
happened. I believe it over in England.
24 hours?
Yeah.
How
crazy.
could any drone stay aloft for 24 hours?
So that's why they think there's 2. Right? One goes up until the battery's about done, and then someone else flies up a different one.
So they alternate.
Yeah, they still haven't, at least at the time of the article that I have pulled up right now, they haven't been able to find the culprits
Even
yet.
if they don't put any explosives in the drone, the idea of a drone going into an intake of a jet.
Oh, absolutely.
Bad idea.
yeah.
It's just like a bird, which
No capes.
if you've seen
No
Sully,
capes.
you know exactly how bad birds can be.
They over in D.C. by Dulles Airport, there is a park there that for years and years had remote controlled planes.
Oh.
After 9/11 came along, they got shut down for a while because they realized how that was really close by.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see that. I'm just curious why it took 24 hours for them to say we should shoot these.
Well, apparently that was one of the first options brought up, but then they're like, no, because then who knows where the bullet's going to go after it hits the drone. Bullets go really far when you fire them up into the air.
Not if you get them right.
But but apparently after 24 hours, even the very responsible police of Gatwick say, fuck it, just shoot the thing.
Well, the best thing to shoot down another plane is another plane. So what we need to have is drone attackers. Mm-hmm. So you have 2 other drones with a net.
That sounds like a drone suicide plane.
Yeah.
I think it was the Japanese or the Koreans that actually were starting to train Hawks to take down drones for this
geez.
exact reason.
Can't we just jam signals? I feel like that's a thing, right?
Not
And they're
really.
just like a big dish that goes in a spinning round circle and just goes, everything doesn't work anymore.
And then suddenly your
that's movies.
podcast goes
too
down.
many
for-
frequencies, too much difference, and truthfully, a lot of them are spread spectrum. So
I
it's
feel
really
like
hard.
I played like Red Alert, and they were able to jam things all the time. And I was really angry.
They tried on the first day, but they missed, so that ability's still on cooldown.
They should be able to triangulate a signal, though, right?
Haven't you seen
Something?
the video of that guy over in Poland at a medieval event where a drone flew over? He picked up a spear and took it out of the sky.
Nice.
Yeah, I
they
saw
need
that.
to bring him to the airport.
That should be an Olympic event.
Yes. Drone
Drones.
spearing.
Javelin throwing.
All right. So is it in?
Oh, yeah, it's in.
Yeah,
And-
it's in. That's absurd.
Anything that makes us that entertained, it's in.
All right, 2 women busted for shoplifting during Shop with a Cop event. Questions? You look like you have questions. You seem
That doesn't
like
sound very interesting. No, not in mine.
Yeah, not mine.
These young ladies decided to shoplift from a Target on the exact same day that a high-profile event was happening where
With
children got to shop with
With the-
police officers in the Target.
We routinely have people go in and try to rob a gun store
Yeah.
all the time. That's
Yeah.
evolution in action.
With a knife.
Yeah.
I too like to live dangerously.
I see you brought a knife to a gun store.
They had one instance where that occurred. They had something like 7 different bullets hit the guy.
No,
He was
calibers?
not different 7 bullets. 7 different bullets hit him
okay. It'd be-
before it hit the ground.
It'd be cooler if there were different calibers. Because then you'd be like, wow, they were really on tonight, weren't they?
You see that in slow motion, boom,
Target practice.
All right, Adam, what do you have next?
Man drives van into store to rescue shoplifting girlfriend.
Oh, was it during Shop with a Cop event?
It was not during a shop with a cop.
Do they have a video of this? That would be really cool.
Was it a
there-
gun store?
There is security camera footage.
It was a van store. It was super weird.
Because apparently they caught this man and 2 different women shoplifting. They managed to restrain one of them, and he started yelling, "If you don't let her go, I'm going to come on back here." And they're like, "Okay, whatever." The cops are on their way, and he leaves, and they think, "Okay, he's gone." And then all of a sudden, a van just comes crashing through the front of the fucking dollar store.
Someone watched Terminator a little too much when there was a little kid.
Wait, you buried the lead. This man drove his van into the front of a store because he had been caught shoplifting in a dollar store.
Yes.
Yeah, you just missed that bit. This was a dollar store. He ruined his vehicle for a dollar store.
Dollar store.
Jesus.
I'm not sure shoplifting in a dollar store counts as a crime. I mean, isn't there a financial threshold like $10,
like- yeah, it's like
25 bucks?
I believe it. That's what how does it say?
It's a misdemeanor.
Because the van was used to ram the building, the case escalated from shoplifting to robbery.
Oh,
He made it worse.
I'll also mention that this was in Fort Worth, Texas, which I used to do Florida Man stories.
Yeah.
But all my Florida Man stories have been slowly becoming Texas Man stories. So whatever is in the water in Florida has been creeping westward.
I assume due to hurricanes.
Yes.
All right. I think is this last but not least? I think so, right?
Did we ever ask if this was news?
Oh, yeah. Was that news?
I call it news.
News?
Oh, yeah, I said news.
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as the video's there.
This one's close to home. I think it's really compelling. Baltimore gun buyback event yields a rocket launcher.
I saw
Just the cojones on that guy, right?
Wow.
God bless
Just-
my new home city.
Bring your guns to the police station, turn them in, and he's like, here. And then, like,
I would have liked that
missile.
story if he had showed up with a catapult.
right?
That would have been more my style. But yes, I think it's a good story.
Yeah, I would have no respect for him if he had brought a catapult because he should have had a trebuchet.
Oh, wow.
Catapults are bullshit. Everyone knows it. So is it
Them's
news?
fighting words. We're going to talk later.
Oh yeah, sure. Bring it because you don't even have a counterweight. So
I thought he was supposed to be dumb.
I am in a lot of other areas. So is it news? News.
Definite news.
Excellent. So we made it through another edition of the Weather Report. Last question we have for you is, what are we going to name this iPad app that has all of this fantastic news in it?
You're the idea guy.
God.
Adam, did you win this week? I feel like it was a draw, maybe.
I was either draw or I won.
Yeah.
So we'll just say I won. I edit this show, so it can be whatever I want.
No problem. I'll take it out of your check.
We're going to call it the Worthless Hours newsletter. That way we will steal your
We're our
fame.
brand.
Yes.
I like it. He's piggybacking. You know you've made it when people try to steal your brand, especially a terrible brand like ours. All right, excellent. So go to the iTunes store and make sure to pick up your copy of what is it? A wasted. What is it?
wasted hour.
A wasted hour
Newsletter.
All right. It's going to be very expensive. Excellent. Well, since this is going to be weird because usually we just waste an entire hour with just us goofing off and playing music, but we're learning things today. Especially we've learned about VR. And if people want to learn more about VR, obviously they can run over to the MagFest that's happening January 3rd through the 6th at the Gaylord National at at the National Harbor in Maryland.
There you go.
Yeah, nailed it.
Close enough.
Or you can go check out the DC VR meetup on meetup.com or Mage Steve up on Twitter. Or you can go to computation.com and ask them questions as well about VR. So tons of places where you can learn things, and we are going to try and make Adam throw up.
I mean, it wouldn't be the worst use of my talents on this show.
One of the best games on there has you shooting at cardboard zombies as they attack you.
Well, that sounds like
until they swarm over you.
Yeah.
It sounds like my sort of speed.
Okay, so we're gonna actually take this is an Oculus Go, is that right?
That's correct.
And we're gonna put this on Adam.
I have to take off my headphones.
Yeah, take your headphones off.
This thing goes for about $199. I'd recommend the $249 version because it has a little more memory.
That's not bad.
No, for a standalone, because you either up and down, you usually either had a goggle that you put your phone into, or you had a device that was more expensive that plugged into a high-end PC, like the Vive.
Yeah, you'd have to spend thousands of dollars on the PC and then $600 on the visor.
Exactly about that. So now this is really state of the art for standalone. Next year they're going to have something newer called the Quest, as well as their competitor is going to have one.
Okay,
but for right now, this is just beautiful. I mean, $199.
And it's VR. All in. You're saying like I turn it on, I can do VR stuff with it.
Absolutely.
It has an app store. It has it's a beautiful consumer-oriented package.
Yeah.
They've thought it out.
They've got a nice little controller too. It's not as good as
it's almost like a Wiimote.
Yeah.
Very much so.
And it looks nice. I mean, it looks like it's well made. It doesn't, look like it's made out of cardboard.
And it tracks it. It actually knows where you're pointing. So the shoot 'em games work very well.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I'm handing the device to Adam.
Yeah.
It looks like a pair of binoculars.
And he's put it on his head, and now it has life.
We talked to someone recently who says the very first thing you should do is put googly eyes.
Yeah. That'd be great. Just giant googly eyes.
I wasn't sure I buyed that, but it was an interesting idea.
That's great. No, I would do that in a heartbeat.
Okay,
so I was expecting just to see like a picture in front of me, but no, like I got stuff all around me. I'm in a canyon or something.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is put your index finger on the controller trigger, which is up front.
Yep.
And you'll see a laser pointer coming out of the controller in the view.
Do not.
Don't hit the microphone now.
I'll edit out that hit later. So I'm not seeing I'm not seeing the laser pointer.
Don't put your thumb on that pad. It'll make it explode.
You said so hold down the trigger?
Make it explode.
Yeah.
This is great.
Clicking on the trigger will activate whatever it is you're pointing at. Now you should be able to see. Do you see a
tracking the finger?
So are you clicking with the finger, the front finger?
Yeah, but I'm not seeing like a pointer or anything like that. This is a great tech demo for the.
There is a problem with that. It would be nice to be able to see what he's showing on the PC or something.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
They're working on things like that. It's not quite there.
Well, we should be able to live cast it, but
that's a little high tech.
Yeah,
but we're all in the same room, and we're from the 1700s.
So there's a difference between
is the remote on?
Yeah,
almost certainly. Let me see it again.
All right, we're gonna fix it.
Yeah, this is where
I guarantee you the problems with Adam. I'm putting that out there now.
There's a lot of problems with deciding whether or not you're going to write an app for something like this 360.
Yeah,
because if it's 360, you literally have to be in a chair that twirls around. Or you're going to start getting neck strain. So a lot of times you write apps that are actually 180.
Yeah.
So that you'd only turn your head and not have to look.
That's the problem, is the view was behind him.
Oh, is that what's going on?
Yeah. Now, take this controller.
Oh, now I got it.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
This is great. So what are you seeing, Adam?
I've got like looks almost like an Apple TV menu, and I got a bunch of different apps. I got Netflix, I got Oculus Rooms,
which is a
channel.
Oculus Room is interesting because it allows you to talk with other people.
But you said I should go to this Dead and Buried thing.
Dead and Buried.
All right, Dead and Buried.
Now, if you're a gamer, this will be completely intuitive to you. You've got zombies attacking you.
Yeah,
it sounds like 90% of video games these days.
Right.
Yeah.
Do not make out with them. I know that's going to be your first inclination.
Do you notice the sound, Adam? Do you notice how the sound is all around you? You can actually get triangulation with the sound. As you turn your head, you can actually tell to the left or right.
That's interesting because he doesn't have headphones on. So
that's why I immediately put my hand up.
A little bit of little speakers inside.
And it just goes like into your temples? Is that what it is?
Just a small microphone, speakers there, so enough for you. And there's actually a microphone built into it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But it does manage surround sound sort of spatialness.
That's interesting.
In a VR game, you really don't want to have background music very much. So you start putting sounds in there. The creek will bubble or a jukebox will play a song.
Okay.
So there's a whole we're getting more art than science here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So what do you see, Adam?
I'm now in a saloon. I've got a revolver, and there's a thing saying, okay, wave 1, zombies.
So that's just like Tuesday. That's no different than what you usually do.
Wait.
Oh, we can hear him. We can hear a little
How do I
bit of what he's
reload?
doing. This is good.
Oh, it's not on auto reload?
Nope, oh, I hit a button, and now I'm back on the menu. Okay, oh, wait, nope,
Okay,
resume.
So what you need to do is
It's stop messing up.
Oh, no, turn on auto reload, or he's going to go crazy. You have to swing the gun down and then back up if it's...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
turn
Nice.
it to like you're moving the cylinder out, and then moving the cylinder back in.
Ah,
There
okay.
you go.
But I'm
he,
dead.
he just flipped his wrist. You can't see it. Wait until you get level 3 and you start seeing Civil War snipers. They're mean.
What do you think, Adam?
I'm alive again. This is... I'm just going to do this. The rest of the show, you guys just talk amongst yourselves.
That seems fair.
Now, one thing he's seen is
Yeah.
he's in a stationary position in a saloon, and all of the zombies and things are moving and coming at him.
Sure.
But he's stationary, so
Okay.
he isn't going to detect any kind of motion. This device, the Oculus Go, is a 3DOF, a 3 degrees of freedom
okay.
device. So you can look up, look down, look around, but you can't move forward, backward, or side to side.
Oh,
because
There's no way of tracking that.
Yeah.
there's no way of tracking that. But also, if you did that, he would be sitting there, but everything would be moving, and
Yeah.
so that would be that roller coaster ride sort of nausea effect.
Gotcha. So we need to get one of those so we can make him throw up.
That's right.
Okay.
And you'll get 6 degrees of freedom with the Oculus Quest next spring.
Okay. Well, while
Oh
he's
god, now
doing,
there's SWAT guys shooting me. What the hell?
That's the Civil War guy I was telling you about.
I'm going to let him continue, and I'm going to move on to our next segment. I'm going to do the first questions here.
Okay.
We'll let him finish up because it's just entertaining to hear him. So this is a section.
It's also entertaining to watch him, you know?
yeah, it is.
Well, it's really funny. If you run some of the other apps, like the roller coasters, people start swaying in their chair back and forth.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So you grab your iPhone up and you take a video of them while they're doing this.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to our little game show that we've invented.
Please.
This is called Please God, Just Get One Right. And this is where our previous guest, Dr. Matt Ravenstall, he is a artist, researcher, and educator. He's also an author. He's got a book coming out called Understanding Art Education Through the Lens of Threshold Concepts. It's going to be published through Sense Publishing in 2019, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. You should talk to him because I feel like VR and threshold concepts
Oh, yes,
would be
absolutely.
like,
Education.
would be really like, so we have to hook you guys up.
Well, I told you there were 8 panels at MagFest.
Yeah.
One's going to be on VR in museums. One's going to be on VR in education. Other topics, HoloLens. So please come by.
Yeah,
It's a
that
whole
would be
track.
amazing. So he came in and he selected a particular category for you.
I was hoping it's Harry Potter.
It's not. I'm not feeling really strong about this one for you guys, but are you ready?
Yes.
Yes.
You are? Okay.
If it has to do with Japan, I'm in.
Not so much. Adam, you finished. How did it go?
I was doing okay, but then the lenses fogged up on me and I couldn't see anymore. So I figured that sounded like a good time to stop.
Oh, that's his excuse. No, you got swarmed. Admit you got swarmed by a bunch of
well, yeah, it
ghouls.
was because I couldn't see what I was doing anymore.
So are you ready for your category?
Yep.
It is Tom Wilson, the Washington Capitol hockey player.
Oh my God, I'm screwed.
You have no idea how many times we hear that on this show. That's what makes this so brilliant. It's okay if you don't win. Just you can throw out answers. You
All I
might-
know about hockey is there's a red line and a green and a blue line.
Green
and-
line.
Yeah, there's a blue line and a red line. That's more than most people know. I think some people know that there's ice. That's
Yeah.
I
a
am
good
born and raised from California.
Okay.
I haven't been living there in the past 20 years.
Sure.
But I've been told that hockey has exploded.
yeah.
But 20, 30 years ago, no, hockey was the place that those folks played.
The
Ask me
LA
baseball,
Kings?
yeah.
No, because the LA Kings had didn't they have Wayne Gretzky on it for a while?
The Sharks. I'm from Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
The San Jose Sharks. I
Oh,
understand
okay.
is big.
Yeah, they're so maybe a shot. We'll see. Okay, let's jump into it, and you guys give it your best shot, or just give us ridiculous answers, and we'll call it a win. Our last guest was upset with Tom Wilson's propensity for hurting other players and causing concussions. He's been in the news for it. One player who Wilson has not concussed is Sidney Crosby of the Pittsburgh Penguins, which is surprising since half of Crosby's 4 concussions have been caused by Caps players, Can you name those two Caps players?
I will bow to my partner, John.
That was really very nice of you. How gentlemanly.
I try to be.
You'll pay for this.
Well, I'll just let him go.
I'm still giggling after any team named after a penguin.
That's good. Oh, we are too.
I couldn't even fathom an answer to that. Wayne Gretzky and
That's great.
Joe Namath.
You're on a good track there. You had a hockey player.
Okay, Willie Mays.
You took a left turn at football, but that's okay. You gave it a shot. I appreciate that because if we look at it, Steve just passed it to you, so you're doing better than he did.
That's what hockey is. You pass the puck.
Yeah, Steckel and Niskanen are the
Bless
two.
you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Are the two players that have concussed Crosby during his career.
Wait, that's two different people.
Two different people.
Okay.
Yeah, David Steckel, I believe it is, and I forget Niskanen's first name offhand.
Sounds Polish.
Matt Niskanen, I think it is. So, so unfortunately you did not get that right.
So do I get to call a friend and have him like that game show on TV?
Do you have a friend that knows hockey stuff?
Yes, we do.
We have a friend
We have a
who
developer who
knows
practices.
hockey.
Yes.
Oh,
but
okay.
He avoids meetings and all kinds
Sure,
of
yeah.
things
Give
just
him a
to
call
watch
on your
hockey.
phone. We'll just put him on the microphone.
I am
Really?
never going to tease him
I'm
about his
game. Are
hockey
you game?
again.
Why don't we try?
Oh, Ivan
All right.
won't know.
Give me
while,
your next one.
while you dial, we gotta keep this
Yeah, we
moving.
got to keep it
No,
going.
no.
now.
Go.
Tom Wilson was suspended for 20 games for a preseason hit to another player's head. How many games did he sit out before that sentence was reduced?
4.
Oh,
4.
Good guess.
Steve,
Do you have
you
one,
have a
Steve?
guess?
Wow, you were confident about that.
Yeah, that's the key.
Okay, I'll say
Confidence.
4-2.
You're going with
4-2?
4-2.
He tells
Yep.
me.
Well, he's very confident, but not at all correct.
He sat out 16 games before it was
Jeez.
reduced to a 14-game suspension.
That's the funny part.
I guess it wouldn't be a
think
question
about
if it
that.
Who did
wasn't
he
exceeding.
appeal to?
I assume a liberal arts college. All right, so you did not get that one. So moving on. Tom Wilson was drafted in 2012 by the Washington Capitals. What was his overall draft position? What number player was he in the draft?
Oh.
Well, I've been told the Capitals are pretty good, so he probably had a low draft number.
A lower draft
Yeah.
model?
So-
That's not a bad
18.
18.
All right, do you
Good
have a
guess. John?
12.
12. If you put those together, you actually came very close. It was 16.
Oh.
16th, yeah.
Oh,
he
there
was
we
in the-
go.
In the first round, but yeah, the mid-lower level of the first round.
See, a stop clock
Hockey
is,
score is lousy.
right
Logic
more than
pretty
twice
good.
a day.
Yeah. Are you calling? Are you trying?
No.
No, okay.
I would give you great fun.
I
but-
was going to call you out on it. Get your friend on the show. All right. So, Adam, what do you have?
Before his entry into the NHL, Wilson played for for the Canada under-18 team that won what 2011 hockey tournament held in Breklov, Czech Republic, and Piastany, Slovakia.
I didn't even know this one, I'll be honest. I like hockey
I never
quite
even
a bit.
heard of those places.
I didn't even know those were countries.
So I would guess maybe a World Hockey Expo.
That's a good guess. Do you have anything, Steve?
The European Hockey Championships.
Wait a minute. Let's think this out. What
Yeah.
year?
11.
2011.
What has that got to do with it?
He's thinking it through, Steve,
Yeah.
for God's sake.
I can see the smoke coming out of his head right now.
Give the man some credit. He's thinking it through.
No, that's just the Oculus Rift he put on, starting to
okay.
overheat
Yeah.
a little bit.
right.
No, I
That's
mean,
why the lenses were
when
fogging
you have
up.
no clue any data at all. Is-
All right.
Ready for the answer? It was the Ivan Hlinka Memorial Tournament.
Nailed it.
they named it after Ivan.
They did. Ivan Hinkler.
Ivan the Terrible, yeah. Which is what we're at this game right now. Terrible.
That's okay. It's built to make you lose, so it's fine. It means it's working the way it should.
So we're coming here to be abused.
That's right.
Well, we just absorbed all the damage from the prior guest,
Yeah.
and now we don't have to worry about that anymore,
No, we have to come up with
Trust me.
a subject for the next guest.
which
Yeah.
will be highly technical and almost
Yeah.
impossible
The
to
irony is, if you
decipher.
two had switched, it would have been perfect because he got stuck with as a art doctorate astronomy, and
Oh,
yeah, he
we would
got
have killed that one.
Yeah.
he got a couple right actually, but but just by sheer luck. All right, so we have me, right?
Yes, your last question.
When a team wins the Stanley Cup, it is allowed to engrave 52 names on the cup. At what position is Tom Wilson's name? See, I gave you the ones that, like, at this point, it's just a number between 1 and 52. To at least have that
Well,
shot.
they do it on importance, or they did it by alphabetical. He might be really low, 52.
That's true.
So I'll go with 50.
50, all right.
Is this position as in hockey position or position on the cup?
Position on the cup. So between names 1 and 52, where is his name?
I like Steve's rationale, so I would say 50.
Sure, steal my answer.
Well, you deferred to me, so that's what you get.
You know what? Excellent logic. Incredibly great logic. 52.
Oh!
He was the last one. Yeah.
I figured there's someone with the name of Z at the end or something like that, you know. Some Canadian or Polish guy with Zanzowski.
Right.
Zanzowski Xavier or
Right. It's
something
just
like that.
a guy whose name starts with a pound sign.
All right, last chance.
Oh.
I thought that was the last one.
No, that was his last one.
Oh,
This
his
is
last
my
one,
last
okay.
one. In 2018, Canadian magazine The Hockey News awarded Wilson what award for toughest player?
The Canadian Hockey News
Wayne Gretzky Award. I have no
toughest
idea.
Players.
I don't know if that's the toughest player, honestly. Wayne
It's the only guy I know.
Nah.
You just managed to disassemble your microphone.
Yeah,
on
no,
air.
this is awesome. I've given it a concussion.
It's up to you, Adam.
See, if you had a VR headset on, that wouldn't happen.
That's right. I need a VR headset right now. Stat.
The
I
ans-
got this thing spinning. This is good. No, I got it. You continue on. No
The-
problems here.
The answer we were looking for was the Bob Probert Award.
That sounded like you said.
Do we
Blob
get to know who that is?
Apparently, he's a guy who likes tough players.
Blob Probert is?
Blob
like-
Probert.
That's what he sounded like. Blob. Blob Probert.
Nope, Bob Probert. So you did not get anyone's
No,
right. Well,
unfortunately.
Keith tries to reassemble his.
I nailed it while you were doing that. I'm basically a professional mic repairman for the last 20 years. So
That's not even at all true.
it's, well, you know, if I can take confessions.
Oftentimes, I fire up Skype for this show, and you're just standing there with your microphone in pieces, going "help."
It's backwards. It's just me like, hey, I don't know what's wrong, but it just sounds softer than normal.
Well, he's not allowed to fix it. He's not a member of the union.
You like that it's on radio and I just actually turned my mic around to make that happen?
It did make me wince a little bit when you did that.
I'll just point it straight at the speaker. All right, so unfortunately you didn't get any correct. That's very sad, but not unexpected. So you can take all of that shame now and ball it up into a category for our next guest. What would you like them to try and answer 6 questions about?
Are we going to be mean or nice?
That's up to you, yeah.
Well,
You
it
can
has
go
to be
either
something we
direction.
know something about. We can't just make things up, or can we?
I mean, we have to actually make 6 questions
You have
about
to
it.
research it.
Yeah. So please make it something
Oh.
that I can actually find 6 things about, and
History
B,
of Apple computer.
that I don't want to like kill myself.
No, that's too easy.
That's too easy? Oh,
That's
God.
too easy.
You know, us geeks think that's
yeah,
easy.
Just for the record, you're a huge nerd. If you think that's easy.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that are like, history of Apple computer, no problem. It started as Apple computers, still is. Like, that's all they know. It makes computers and was sued by the Beatles.
Well, it has to be something entertaining. It can't be some esoteric branch of mathematics because that would just be.
That's why I said
unentertaining.
Apple computer.
Yeah, please.
We want it to be educational, have them actually learn something important.
Exactly, right? And you want it, if you ever want to make it back onto the show, you don't want to make us hate you for having to find 6 questions about it. We're pretty open-minded.
While he figures that out, we're going to go with...
How about the history of Japanese robots?
History of Japanese robots.
Can
Steve, how
they
do you
be
feel about
animated robots?
Yeah,
Well,
no.
it could include animated robots.
Okay.
Then I can find 6 questions about that.
Okay.
that? Yeah? Are you good with that, Steve?
Yes, I'm good with that.
Okay, so
You can tell which one of us has visited Japan often.
it was Adam, right? No? Am I wrong?
And I'm pretty sure I'm still barred from leaving the country. Something about a propensity for starting international incidents.
What did you do?
I mean, when I went to Brazil, I was accused of being some kind of international guitar smuggler. True story. That's way too long for the amount of time we have left in the podcast.
Yeah, I can see
but-
that.
All right, history
You were
of Japanese-
smuggling Brazilian rosewood out of there, weren't you?
No, I was trying to get stuff in.
Not something they usually accuse people of.
Drugs, no problem, but no guitars.
Yeah. All right, history of Japanese robots. We will have that next year, where somebody next week, while somebody tries to answer questions about that. Thank you for participating and giving us a category to run with. So we'll get to the end of our show here, which is near and far.
And I'm sure the stories are very interesting, but I'm just going to shoot more zombies while this part goes on.
Okay, he's going to shoot zombies. That's fine.
It's addicting, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, we promised the audience the chance of me explosively hurling on air.
Yeah, that's true.
I need to do my best to give them what I promised.
We're trying to make a new
the zombie
story.
one won't get you sick. Do the roller coaster one.
Oh, okay. Well, then fine.
New stories. Threw up once
Just remember,
on a podcast.
I can't see once I put this thing on, so it may be aimed towards one of you.
You know, as a veteran gamer, I always thought I was immune to that nausea stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, that's for babies. You know,
Right.
head bob, that's
Whatever.
nothing.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I played Temple Run on the VR device on the Oculus, and oh my God, I was really getting queasy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really.
it is quite an effect.
It's
you should,
legit, huh?
You should try Temple Run.
Yeah.
Which
one is
Since
the-
he's putting the VR on, let me tell you something about old VR.
Okay.
VR has been around for a long time. We didn't call it VR. We used to be called different names.
Okay.
One of the very first VR systems around was at Disneyland during the 60s of all things.
Really? Okay. I didn't know
Walt
that.
Disney patented a video, auditorium that you walked in, stood up, and
Yeah.
there were 11 screens around you.
Nice.
It was called Film 360.
Okay, yeah.
But it was strange because even then people were getting nauseated.
Hmm.
They put on a video called America Sings
Yeah.
and America the Beautiful. And and this was really strange because I've seen the patent of this equipment.
Yeah.
It looks like a Google car, except
Okay.
on top of it, they have 11 cameras, wet photography cameras,
Oh,
filming.
wow.
The patent shows a station wagon, which tells you the era it is.
Yeah, sure.
So they put this in Disneyland. Great hit. They put another video out. This video out included a 707 with this equipment on top of it,
Yeah.
flying over the Rocky Mountains.
Oh, wow.
And then it did a barrel roll.
Oh, man.
People were falling over because they were supposed to. They weren't used to it. The whole auditorium would twist, and people were falling down, which is not good at Disneyland. So the next year they put it out with rails to stop
Yeah.
them. So getting nauseated with VR has been around for a long time.
Nice.
We're still combating it.
So we don't have a ton of time left. So let's start off. John, you had a story for us about your travels in Japan.
Only a short story. I'm not
Yes.
very clever with stories, but
Speaking of
some,
Japanese robots.
some
Yes.
experience.
Yeah.
I spent some time in Akihabara, which is their
It's
electric
turning
town,
around.
and
Well, how
you
else
can
did you get out of this haunted house?
All right.
you can see the abject
He's just
fear
a
in his face.
He's just a
Move the
distraction.
microphone from his head before he knocks it over.
It'll be fine. It's good.
Yeah, the microphone will be safe.
Yeah.
He's hitting his head
All right,
into the
John,
microphone.
Go on.
So anyway, so I'm in Akihabara, their electric town, and going to all the model stores and the
Oh, okay, cool.
the geek electronic stores and the toy stores, and just having a grand old time. And I went to one of the arcades, one of the game arcades, video
Okay.
game.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I found, and this was in 2007, I found this row of pods, these like egg-shaped white pods that take, single person. I'm
Sure.
wondering,
Yeah. I've
what-
seen like resting pods like that where you
Yeah.
can take a nap. In.
Well,
yeah. But
these are gaming pods.
Cool.
And they're like big spherical things. And I'm wondering, what is this? And it was a mobile Gundam
Oh, nice.
simulation system. And I touched the pad
Yeah.
for the entry, and this thing just like glows.
Oh, wow.
It glows, this violet color, and then
Yeah.
it opens up with gull wing doors.
Oh, that's so cool.
And it's really dramatic, and it's like,
You're like, I want to do that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I want to do that.
Yeah.
And I got wiped because these things are internet connected. These
Sure.
are network connected, and you're playing gamers all over Japan.
Oh, right. Who've been doing this for years, probably. And
Yeah.
You're coming in, first time touching it.
But
And-
it's a wonderful virtual effect when you're inside one of these things.
I can
and,
imagine.
and you
They actually
feel
have
like you're there.
They actually have something like that at MagFest.
Oh, really? Okay.
There
so
was
I
a
can
company in the
try it.
United States called FASA who did BattleTech years ago.
Yeah.
And the pods are no longer available, but the old ones they usually bring to MagFest. So if you go to MagFest, they have a whole auditorium full of console coin-op machines, the old Pong,
Yeah,
the old
that's
Space
cool.
Invaders, some
Yeah.
of the old VR systems, the ones you used to pull down in your headsets.
Yeah.
And they also have a lot of the Japanese high excitement games.
Oh, very cool.
Console arcade games.
Well, guys, we've run out of time. Thank you so much for joining us. Did you have a good time?
Wonderful.
Yeah,
time.
we had a great time.
Excellent. So once again, if you want to see Steve Sheets or John Nelson speaking about VR, AR, or other technologies, head up to MagFest at Gaylord National in National Harbor on January 3rd to the 6th. You can go to magfest.org for more information. Check out Mage Steve on Twitter for more information there. Go to DC VR Meetup to find out more about virtual reality. And check out John at computation.com if you have an idea you'd like to see come to life. More importantly, do not forget to like our posts, follow us, retweet us, and share the show on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We cannot do this without you. Don't forget to review us on Facebook, iTunes, and Google Play. If you're an artist, musician, or culture creator in the DC area, we want you on our show. Email us at booking@anotherwastedhour.com. Thanks to everyone for all their contributions. Adam, don't forget, I've got a check for you. No, seriously.
Okay.
Most of all, thanks to our guest today for wasting a perfectly good hour with us. This has been another wasted hour, and if you just realized that, don't blame us. We warned you.